Hello, and welcome to today's episode of End of Days Play, where we bring you the latest on the match between the Kolkata Knight Riders and the Mumbai Indians. And we will also offer you a prediction on tomorrow's match between the Kings XI Punjab and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So, Nax, I think what we've probably witnessed is the most one sided game of the tournament so far. So, why don't you give us a quick summary of today's game and then we'll head into the talking points?
Thanks, Wayne. Yes, indeed. It was probably the most one sided game so far. So, going with the trend again, Kolkata Knight Riders playing their first game of the tournament won the toss and invited Mumbai Indians to go for a first bat. And after having lost their first wicket cheaply, Quinton de Kock, the captain Rohit Sharma, in company of Surya Kumar Yadav, stitched together a beautiful partnership. It was full of strokes, stroke laden, and raced away to a very high run rate until it was an unfortunate run out that brought about the end of Surya Kumar Yadav. But in spite of that, the incoming batsmen, whether it was Saurabh Tiwari or it was Hardik Pandya later, always maintained the tempo, and Mumbai kept on with the run rate and actually nearly reached 200. So in the end, a little bit of a containing act by Sunil Narayan restricted Mumbai from reaching 200. So they ended up with 195 for the loss of 5 wickets in their 20 overs. In their bowling effort for Kolkata, it was Shivam Mavi, the much talked about paceman, had a good outing, taking 2 wickets for 32 runs. But then outside of that, all the other pacers were taken to the cleaners. In reply, Kolkata Knight Riders were never really off to any kind of a start because of the brilliant opening burst by the Mumbai new ball bowlers. Both their openers were lost cheaply without many runs on the board, and then it was on to their captain Dinesh Karthik and Nitish Rana to do some kind of a resurrection. But it was too late, and you knew that the chase had been derailed by then. And then in the end, even the likes of Owen Morgan and Andre Russell couldn't really do much. And they kind of limped towards a total of 146 for the loss of 9 wickets. In Mumbai, all the bowlers came to the party. The pick of them, well, not much to pick between them, but James Pattinson, Rahul Chahar, Trent Bolt, and Bumrah all chipped in with 2 wickets each. So that's a total bowling team effort. And in the end, it was Mumbai Indians which won by 49 runs.
Brilliant. So, I think without further ado, let's head into the talking points. What do we have at number 5 today?
Number five, it was interesting to see the struggling running between the wickets by the Mumbai batsmen. So if you're not very quick on your feet, you're not going to be able to convert those ones into twos and twos into threes. So we could actually observe 2 or 3 occasions where they easily could have actually run that extra run. And then eventually, when they did decide to take that extra run, the tight couple, that's when Surya Kumar Yadav was run out. So it was interesting to see, and we wonder whether it is the playing conditions in the Emirates, where based on a tweet from Sachin Tendulkar, where he said it was probably the sand and the underlayer just beneath the grass, which makes it for a soft running surface and not very easy to slide the bat. And probably we could even relate to what happened to David Miller yesterday, where
Yeah.
he was run out without a bat in hand. So maybe these are the things that are not very apparent, but we can probably just make a best judgment from a distance.
Yeah, and I think with Rohit Sharma as well, later on you could see when he was fielding, I think he had a bit of trouble with his hamstring. So probably that was also something which was preventing him from going for the quick singles and the quick doubles. Um, Again, but
Not
very
quite a
valid point.
dad's army yet.
Indeed. At number 4, I'm going to begin a controversial topic. Are we beginning to see the decline of Andre Russell, the MVP? And when I say that, what I'm trying to say is, I think he still offers a lot with the bat. He's an absolute monster when it comes to hitting in the later part of the innings. He still offers some very useful bowlers. But I think what made Russell the complete package was the fact that, in addition to this, he was also a brilliant ground fielder, in addition to an excellent catcher. So while his catching skills might still be pretty good, I think what we really saw is he's really struggling with his fitness, and he's really struggling with his ground fielding. We know he's struggled with his fitness. We know he's had injury problems with his knees, especially. So it made me wonder if we're seeing the decline of the MVP. What's your view on this?
Well, decline of the MVP. Yeah, you kind of set the right tone. It is not necessarily the complete decline, but it is always very difficult to keep up the MVP level of performance season after season.
Yeah.
Not to forget, he was the MVP the last season,
Yeah.
and the MVP the season before was Sunil Narayan. So
So,
both the KKR players were in the playing 11 today,
yeah.
and they are basically. It's going to be very difficult to replicate that performance. And yes, he is not the fittest person going around. So fitness issues has always plagued him. So probably it is left to KKR management to use him wisely now, and probably recalibrate their expectations of him.
At number 3, what do we have today?
So in number three, we have the first innings bowling effort. This is probably just the trend that we have seen from yesterday and today's game, that the teams bowling first have kind of struggled to hit the right length and have actually leaked a lot of runs before they could even do any kind of containment. So even today it was the short of a length bowling to Rohit Sharma, which he actually feeds on. So see it, pull it, Rohit. That was the one-liner I read somewhere. So that was the story. Rohit actually hit some 4 or 5 pull shots, and you see that the teams bowling second have a good example already set by the first bowling team to correct what actually did not click for them. So you wonder whether how wise it is for the teams winning the toss to always choose to bowl first. But we may not read too deep into it because it was KKR's first game after all. So let's see how the things go in the following matches.
Yeah, I think that's one to keep an eye out for. Some teams might decide to just, take a call between whether it's, whether they need to counter the due, or whether, they need to, see what's gone on and decide to bat first instead of bowling first. At number 2, I think we've got a continuing trend from yesterday's episode, which is KKR's muddle chasing strategy. If you actually look at the top order, they're probably one of the batting lineups with the best combination of left-hand and right-hand batsmen and good quality batsmen who have plenty of experience playing in the IPL. But again, I think today their approach wasn't quite there. The openers struggled, as you mentioned earlier. But I still feel they left Andre Russell quite, for quite late. I would have thought it's probably better to get him at the eighth over, let him have a go at the bowlers, especially when the spinner was on and Pollard was on, and then try and get KKR as close to the target as possible, which would have made life easier for the batsmen following up to try and at least make give it a good go when they were chasing the target. Instead, he ended up coming in the 13th over when there was a huge target in front of him, and I think it just puts unnecessary pressure on him. Sorry, and I think that's something that KKR need to revisit.
Yeah, well, just giving the benefit of doubt to KKR, it's probably their first game, and they were again up against it right from the front, right from the word go. So yeah, so hopefully your words and Andre Russell's words are heard, and he gets to bat higher up, and he probably gets to set the tone early. That's true.
And moving on, we've got the number one talking point of the day, and what's that, Nags?
No points for guessing that. Number one talking point, the team performance by Mumbai Indians. The batting clicked, the bowling group hunted in as a pack, and it was a pleasure to watch them perform as a team. And you go on to wonder who else can actually keep up with that effort. And they are overwhelming favorites, although they have lost their first game. So not much more to talk about.
I agree, and I think the fielding was also really good, both ground fielding and catching. And if Mumbai ever want to repeat a performance, it is this performance. Brings us to the end of the talking points. Moving on to the fun fact section. I've got a selection of fun facts for you again today, so I'll let you pick what's your favorite one. So there's the Hardik hit wicket dismissal. There was Krunal Pandya immediately on the next ball, falling at both ends of the wicket, and then there was the fact that Kieron Pollard picked up his first IPL wicket since 2015. So, which do you think is the fun fact for the day?
Well, in terms of fun watching, it had to be the Krunal Pandya falling at both ends. So facing a brute of a rising ball from Andre Russell, falling on ground, and then seeing that his partner had actually come halfway, so he had to scamper to the other end and again dive at the other end to make his ground. So falling at both ends in the same ball was funny to watch indeed. Yes.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. Next up, we've got a new section today. So we are talking about the turning point of the day. And I think, Nags, you'd probably agree with me. If we look at the entire game today, I think the new ball burst by the Mumbai bowlers absolutely killed the game. I think the first 5 overs that bowled Pattinson and Bumrah bowled, I think the chase was done and dusted right there. And they did not allow KKR an opportunity to come back in the game. So I think that for me was the turning point of the game today.
Yes, the chase never got on. It derailed in the first 5. Absolutely. Bang on.
And our player of the match, I think, as adjudicated by the commentators as well, I think we're going to stick with Rohit Sharma for his splendid innings of 80.
Rohit Sharma for us was the player of the day, getting team to the good start in spite of losing the wicket up front. So perfect. Good choice.
Moving on, quick predictions for the game tomorrow between Kings XI Punjab and Royal Challengers Bangalore. We've been wrong the past couple of days.
So... Yes, we aren't setting the right precedent in terms of predictions. So going with the momentum, I think RCB will again come on top against the Kings XI.
Just to keep things interesting, I'm going to take the counter view and I'm going to back Punjab. I thought they were quite unlucky to lose that game last time around. So I'm going for Punjab. You're going for RCB. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Surely one of us will get it right.
Yep, absolutely. Unless it rains. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. If you like this video, please like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel. Keep more videos coming your way. And again, please do not hesitate to share your comments. As I keep saying, our opinions are uninvited, but your opinions are highly valued. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.